Hey, welcome to Diaries of Badass Bosses, the podcast series that takes a deep dive into the journeys of entrepreneurs and businesses who are shaking things up in their industry. I'm Penny.
And I'm Tigz. And in this series, we'll explore the stories of people who have defied the odds, taken risks, and forged their own paths to success. We'll hear from founders who have turned their ideas into thriving businesses, as well as CEOs who have transformed their organizations and taken them to new heights.
So exciting. We're going to talk about what it means to be a badass boss, including the challenges, the rewards, and the importance of resilience and adaptability. We're going to hear their stories, insights, advice for anyone looking to make their mark in the world of business, no matter what size.
Want a weekly dose of badass boss energy? Join us every Wednesday on all major podcasting platforms.
See you there.
So hello and welcome to another episode of Diaries of Badass Bosses. I am so excited today because we have Rachel Watkin, who is the CEO of both the Tiny Box Company and Know the Origin. Rachel spent her formative years in care after a traumatic early childhood. Whilst working in Sierra Leone during the military coup, she witnessed extreme poverty that drove her vision for a fair trade business. Began as a jewellery company, but her struggle to find recycled and environmentally friendly packaging led her to start the Tiny Box Company to supply businesses with ethical, attractive packaging. Withstanding fire, flooding, IT hack, COVID and cancer, she has grown Tiny Box to a thriving company, turning over circa £10 million and is Dragon Den's most successful female entrepreneur to date.
Wow.
I'm so excited about this. She has started a new journey running Know the Origin, a sustainable and ethical lifestyle brand, which I'm excited to hear more about. And as a regular commentator on women's entrepreneurial and leadership, green businesses and sustainability, Rachel enjoys seeing young people reach their full potential through mentoring and nurturing their strengths. I mean,
an intro.
Right? Rachel, we are so excited to have you here today. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. That sounds so linear and professional, doesn't it? The real journey is nothing like that.
Honestly, it's such a pleasure. I first came across your business, actually a friend of mine online who actually runs a jewellery business was posting about Tiny Box Company. So I'm very familiar with sort of that side of the business. But there is so much that we have to delve into today. I honestly, I'm just going to jump right back in. Tell us about your fair trade jewellery company. It was called the Tiny Difference Company,
It was
right?
called the Tiny Difference Company, yeah. So I've never confessed this to the dragons, but...
I love this beginning already.
This is great. We're getting all
Probably
the
a bit
tea.
late now, isn't it? But I came back from Sierra Leone and I saw the poverty. I wanted to do something to help them, but I got really sick and no one could tell me what was wrong with me. It was an appendix operation that went wrong, and it took me 4 years before I could actually work part-time again.
Oh, wow. 9
months in bed.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about hitting rock bottom, you know, because nobody could tell me what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And I lost hope. And when you lose hope, it's a dark place.
It's a spiral, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the year 2000. It took me till 2004 till I could work even part-time.
Yeah.
And even 2006 when I started the jewellery company, I thought, well, I'll start it as a little lifestyle business that I can fit around my health. So I wasn't well enough to work part-time. Full-time. So even when we did Dragon's Den in 2008, I wasn't well enough to be working full-time, but I never told them that.
Yeah. But you weren't actually the one that applied to be on the show, were you?
No, I would never have applied. But my business partner at the time knew that, and that's why he didn't tell me.
Oh, wow.
He had been a well-known broadcaster in his day, you know.
Right.
He was, he did Kiss breakfast show, and it was either him or Virgin.
Yeah.
And he was on Virgin, but he got sacked because he announced that Chris Evans was dead on the radio.
I do remember that. Yeah.
So he moved over to Kiss, but a lot of drugs and alcohol, you know, that goes with that lifestyle. He ended up in rehab, and he just said after his rehab, he said, I just want a normal job. Can I just come and work with you? If anyone ever says that, the answer is no. Just no. You know, he was so used to being in the public eye, and he loved his broadcasting.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't know how to get out of it. So he thought, well, if he applied to Dragon's Den and didn't tell me, he would be back in the public eye, and also he would provide mentors to work with me if he, you know, so he wasn't letting me down.
Yeah.
It seemed like the perfect solution. It's
Yeah.
just he didn't tell me.
Oh my God. So when did you find out? Like, how close to the show was it?
When the BBC phoned and said, what do you want the money for?
Oh.
When are you coming?
Hang on, let me check my emails.
My diary is full.
and Robin was actually in the office that day, and he was sitting opposite from me just going, blag it, you know. So
Oh my goodness.
that's how it started.
So that was 2008, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you successfully gained 2 dragons.
I did, yes.
Tell us about that experience.
Well, because I had no trading history, I didn't know the first thing about packaging. I mean, when I say I know nothing, my background was software.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I sold financial systems.
Oh, wow.
And didn't know anything about packaging, didn't know anything about manufacturing, supply. Asked me to build like techie things, and I was in my element.
Yeah.
So we had no trading history, nothing patentable, didn't have a clue what I was talking about, so I had no expectations.
Yeah.
So the biggest concern when we actually went on filming that day was my hair, because I'd been stuck in the green room all day and it had just got frizzier and frizzier and frizzier.
Oh, I know that feeling.
All my makeup.
It's literally happened to me today.
All my makeup had slid off my face. So I wasn't worried about whether we'd get investment or not, because I didn't think we would. You know?
I mean, it had such an impact on the business, didn't it? So when it actually aired, did your website actually crash?
Our website did crash, yeah. We checked with the hosts beforehand, saying, you know, our volume of traffic is likely to go up significantly. Will we be able to cope with it? And they're like, yeah, no problem. It lasted 15 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was literally within 1 minute, wasn't it, from when you aired? Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I am a huge fan of Dragon's Den.
She
like,
really
I
is.
really do love it. I just feel like I get a lot from it, like, from watching over the many years and all the different types of business. It's actually been really inspiring to watch. But I want to know, what's it like working with 2 dragons?
So
here we go. Going to get all the tea now.
Get the two.
And so on the TV is just a verbal yes.
Yeah.
And then you've got the whole due diligence process, the checking of what you're saying is legitimate. And that goes on for quite a few months.
Okay.
So we filmed in May. It was aired in September, but we only finally signed the contract about a week before it was aired.
Wow.
I had a meeting about 2 months after the filming with all of Peter Jones's team and Theo's team. There's like 12 of them and little old me. And they had pricing strategists, branding analysts, God knows what, and me. So they spent the afternoon basically dissecting my business, working out where my knowledge was, did I know what I was talking about? And really surprisingly, at the end of it, they said, do you know what, we're going to forward you the money and leave you to get on with the business.
Oh, wow. Because they're still part of the business now, aren't they?
Yeah. I was devastated because I had the classic female imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, no, I want to be mentored by you. I want you to tell me how to do everything. And they were saying, no, you know what to do. Just go and get on with it and just tell us if there's anything specific that you need us to help with.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
so...
gosh, I'm interrupting both of you there at the same time. Because Tiny Box Company, in 2007 when you started, like, to be a sustainable packaging company at that time, you were so ahead of the curve.
Oh, yeah. In Dragon's Den, if you watch the filming back, I was told that it would always be niche, it would never be mainstream. And Theo said on the show, you're going to have to compromise on the products that you sell. And I knew that it would not be niche for a very long time. Yeah. So on the show, you can see me just going, yes, of course, Theo, of course.
Yeah.
And we never did.
Yeah.
And what would you say, what are your most, what is the most popular product that you're selling in terms of, is it the vegan stuff? Is it the plastic free? Like, where?
Our top seller is a 68 mil by 42 mil jewellery box made out of 100% recycled paper with the insert made out of 100% recycled cotton. Polyester filler.
Yeah.
And that is our top seller.
Wow, how interesting.
We sell thousands of things.
I mean, I'm surprised you've not heard from Deborah Meaden, to be honest, because this is clearly everything that she stands for and everything. So I'm surprised she's not been beating down your door.
So when we filmed, Deborah Meaden, she obviously she made it clear that she wasn't a great fan of Robin, my business partner at the time, but he didn't let on until the show had finished or we'd finished airing that he wasn't going to be involved in the business any longer anyway.
Right.
It wasn't her bag at the time. But interestingly, we were in the car, I don't know, it was about 4 years ago. And my phone goes and she says, "Hi, it's Deborah Meaden here. How you doing? I'm working with another brand. Can you help us with our packaging?"
Wow.
So you did, that connection has still been there all these years later.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Amazing.
So you have over 100 employees at the Tiny Box Company. Can you remember your very first hire?
Oh, I can remember my very first hire. Yeah, she set my warehouse alight.
Was that the fire?
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault. It was a really hot day and the warehouse was stacked high with boxes. And I was on the phone to a customer at the time and employee, Victoria, came running in and she said, "Rach, there's a fire in the warehouse." And I carried on talking to the customer. The penny just didn't drop. And then I sort of said to the customer, "I think I need to go and check this out. I'll call you back." And my dad had actually popped in that day. And my dad used to be, years and years ago, was a driver for the fire brigade in Brixton.
Oh, wow.
And I walked out and I was looking at the fire and he said, "Don't just stand there, dial 999. What are you doing?" So I ran off to dial 999. In the meantime, there's an ironworks next to our first premises. Yeah. And the guys there were brilliant. They had all of the equipment and they got the fire out. But what had happened was where the premises had been built, that you have the fire regulations of a 12 centimetre gap between any insulation and a light fitting, and they hadn't done it. So the light fitting, the insulation had got overheated, the light fitting caught fire and it dropped out onto one of my cardboard boxes.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
so, of course, it was just whoosh.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
So that was my first
Of course
employee.
you don't forget her.
Yeah, she might.
I mean, if we were to send you our CVs, what are the qualities or, you would want, what would impress you and what would be your red flags?
So the most important things to me are not necessarily what somebody's done at all. It's their attitude. Mm-hmm. Because if you've got somebody that's willing to give things a go, glass half full, then they have so much potential. Yeah. It's the people that have the job's worth mentality. Well, that's not in my job description, If you're a fast-growing team and you're a dynamic team, the most important is the team fit, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2022, you extended your business portfolio because you bought the assets of Know the Origin.
I did.
So it's another sustainable and ethical lifestyle, it's a lifestyle e-commerce brand that had gone into liquidation during COVID. So it was an existing business already. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that came about?
So April 2021, a lady that I know who's become a good friend had a sustainable clothing business, but specifically in the equine area, so for horse riders. And I was chatting to her and she was sort of saying how could she scale up, get investment or whatever. And I started Googling and realised that if you Googled sustainable sportswear or sustainable gym wear, all you got was newspaper articles of the top 10 brands that are micro brands. There was no major player. And I was like, how can this be 2021 and us be in this situation? So we set up a brand called Chief and Turtle originally, which was all just sustainable sportswear. And I came across the lady or one of the founders of Know the Origin as part of that journey. Got chatting to her, and then when she hit financial difficulty during COVID, she reached out and said, could we help? But unfortunately, by the time we got to help her with the business, it was too late. It really was too late. It was past rescuing. It was just a culmination of things, you know. So I believed in the brand. I believed in everything they were trying to do. So said to my husband, let's take a punt. Let's buy it and see if we can resurrect it. And then we sort of merged Chief and Turtle with it under the Know the Origin umbrella, because Know the Origin is a great name.
It's fantastic. Exactly.
But the irony of all of this is that we signed the paperwork October the 20th.
Yeah,
it's ingrained in my brain. We signed the paperwork in the morning, and then in the afternoon I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
Now, had it been the other way round, I wouldn't have signed the paperwork.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you go and get told you've got cancer, at that point you don't know whether it's spread, whether you're going to survive, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fate.
Yeah. And what was it like for you in terms of, obviously you needed to prioritise your self-care at that point. So how did you prioritise you while still, well, now you had 2 brands on your hands. So how did that work?
Do you know what? I was talking about this the other day, and going back to what happened to me in the years 2000 to 2004, I can't tell you how dark they were. You know, so many people in the UK get put in this chronic fatigue syndrome bracket, you know, where if you can't get out of bed every day and you have no existence, and your friends all leave you, your support network disappears, and you're left with nothing but your own headspace, which is is not well anyway. It is so dark that actually getting diagnosed with breast cancer and then being told it was quite fixable, just a double mastectomy, was nothing in comparison. I know that sounds crazy, but compared to 4 years of being in such a dark place, it was like, okay, this is what I've got to deal with. Double mastectomy, implants, let's just get on with it, get through the recovery period, get back to work. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I had, after my second son, I went to a dark place and I didn't know why. I had no idea what was going on. And I'm so ambitious. I'm always out. I'm literally a social butterfly, but I couldn't make sense of it. I didn't want to leave my bedroom even. And trying to explain that even to my husband was so hard because I couldn't say why.
I totally get it, you know. To people, all of my blood tests were coming back fine. People would look at me and they say, well, you look fine, get over it. And anybody that knew me long term knew how ambitious I was, how driven I was. So to literally physically not be able to get out of bed when all the doctors are saying, well, there's nothing really wrong with you, is there? It must be psychological. I'm like, of course it's not, you know. And you didn't get any kind of recognition or help or anything. And then as soon as you say you've got cancer, everybody's like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah.
But for me, health-wise, what I went through back then was way worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just taking a moment now because, as I say, I completely feel you. Like I do. And I feel like the fact that you're talking about it, it really does help. Because I'm actually getting emotional talking about it now, because I think it's important, because we don't.
We don't talk about it. And I think we're in a culture where we're supposed to, you know, this Instagram culture of where our life is perfect and everything. I read a brilliant clip on that somebody said recently where they said it shouldn't be called Instagram, it should be called My Life is So Fake and Brilliant Gram, you know, because we're all portraying that picture, but the reality is that life is hard. So let's be honest about it and say, okay, life is hard. How do we get through those difficult pieces?
And what is, because that's interesting that you bring that up as well. Like, you've gone through so much. I mean, honestly, like from fire, flooding, IT hack so bad that it nearly banned your entire business off Google. Like, what is your resilience? Like, how do you build that resilience in business?
So me and my sister have spent quite a lot of time talking about this. We're currently writing a book about our childhood.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful.
And
when can we expect that one?
Hopefully next year.
Oh.
Exciting.
It's been over a year in the makings now. But But we've kind of concluded that because our childhood was so bad and was so unpredictable, there was no way to navigate your way through it without just being incredibly agile and just accepting, okay, well, this is what's happening now. You've just got to get on with it.
Yeah.
And I think because there was no conformity, there was no rules as children. The rules changed every day, you know.
Yeah.
It actually set me up brilliantly for being an entrepreneur because I didn't care what other people thought. You know, age 5, I was being called Fleabag at school, you know, on a regular basis, you know. Yeah, so you just care a lot less, I guess, and you just get on with whatever's thrown at you.
Which is a wonderful, I mean, not that you had to go through those experiences, but that to have that outlook on life, to know, you know, I'm just going to live my best life. I'm going to go and do what I do and the world can catch up with me. A great attitude to have. And I mean, speaking of going and doing what you do, what does a day in the life of you look like? And we've all struggled with this one today. Yeah.
Every day is different. I mean, I've got to be honest with you, I am terrible first thing in the morning. I literally can't get out of bed.
Me too.
It's like when I'm up and I'm on the go, I'm on the go.
Yeah.
But getting out in the morning, my husband literally has to grab my ankles and pull me out of bed.
He's nodding in the corner right now.
Sort of plonk me in the shower, you know. And yeah, he has to sort of make sure that I get to wherever I'm supposed to be going. So yeah, not pretty. And I'm not great at sort of remembering that I need to make myself look presentable. So you'll often see me at work in the onesie, tracksuit bottom.
Love it.
There's a classic picture of me on Instagram somewhere, or a video, where I've forgotten that it's an external meeting and I just thought it was Zoom. So I've got a nice posh shirt on and then
joggers.
Shorts.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Nice. Oh my God, that's amazing.
So yeah, every day is different. I mean, today I'm here having a lovely time with you guys. Then I'm going straight into Paddington because I'm a panelist on GB News.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so doing.
We had a first.
Yep.
Yeah, I did an interview for International Women's Day on GB News.
Brilliant.
Thought it had gone terribly. Said to my husband, well, I completely screwed that up, didn't I? And they emailed me the next day saying, would you like to become a regular panellist?
Oh, I love that.
And it's great because it helps to change their demographic.
Yeah.
You know, and gives the UK more choice of news stations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, as a PR, I know the holy grail of TV, and if you get in there and you do what they need, wow, it's like that's it. You're literally set for life. Like you do your own PR in the end because literally they're coming to you. So it's a testament to you. That's fantastic.
Well, it wasn't on my radar. It wasn't my plan, you know. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned in business is that you've just got to open doors. I drive my husband mad because I'm like, we've got to open doors. And every now and then he says, can we just close a few for now?
Love it.
So when it comes to working for yourself, what is a non-negotiable career perk that you've carved out for yourself? Like, do you work a 4-day week, or is it an amazing workspace? What, like,
the face right now for the 4-day week. What's a 4-day week?
I know neither of us have that, don't worry.
Amazing workspace. Warehouse, high vises. No.
Holidays?
What are they? If anyone I'm on retraining with the senior management team because I detest when people take holiday. I just hate it. But they are trying to retrain me so that I look happy and pleased any time anyone says they're off on holiday. So now I have to say, oh, holiday, how lovely.
Where are you going? I hope you have a lovely time.
Exactly that. But I've decided that I really do need Botox so that I actually look like what I'm saying, you know.
Oh, I think that's one of my best favourite responses today.
So Tiny Box recently celebrated its 25th business birthday, I believe.
No. 15.
15. Oh,
Yeah.
where did I get 25 from?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
We're a horrible teenager stage.
How did you celebrate?
Did we celebrate? No. No, we didn't.
We need to get you a cake.
Yeah, absolutely. Right after this, we're going straight to the cake shop.
I think because our 15th birthday was literally 10 days after I'd been diagnosed with cancer. So it was just like, get on with what we've got to deal with, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably should have had cake. But
do you have any sort of, how do you celebrate big, like if you have big accomplishments or achievements, do you have a process of celebrating or do you mark those occasions?
Yay. Well done. Right, moving on.
What's next?
That's bad, isn't it? That is bad. We do need to celebrate more when we hit achievements. I think because I'm so forward thinking and so proactive, I've already moved on.
Yeah.
You know, and I never take time, I guess, to really focus on self-recognition. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think because I'm so self-critical anyway, I'm more critical of myself than I am of anybody else, you know, so it's always like, oh, so you got to 10 million turnover. Is that it? Well, look at the size of Google. You know, why haven't we achieved what Google have achieved? Yeah. It does put a dampener on celebrating.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge you're facing in your industry right now?
Oh, interesting. The biggest challenge, without a doubt, well, there's a number of big challenges. One is that we are heading into recession and yet we are still reaching full employment. So there is no good staff out there. It's really hard to recruit right now. But also the industry of packaging has changed rapidly, where people have really stripped back what they're using in the packaging. So we are frantically innovating and looking to produce ourselves a lot more stuff that is current and relevant. What's happened is that a number of competitors have come up over the last few years and they're literally ripping off our website. So they'll go onto our website, see products that they like, send them off to their manufacturers, have them copied, undercut our prices, and hey presto, they're on their website 8 weeks later. So the best way for us to get round this is producing more ourselves, because then they don't have the time to keep catching up with us. Yeah. And I mean, we had a competitor come and visit us. You know, it was all very friendly. We invited him and we said, how do you benchmark about how you're doing and everything? He said, well, we benchmark against you.
I knew you were going to say that. You're setting the bar. That's the thing. I mean, what is it that you love most about what you do?
I love seeing the youngsters come on through the business, especially young females, because of knowing the challenges that they've had of the unconscious bias of women never being given the same chances. My head of ecom has been with me since she was 18 and she's 28 now, and we sat down in January and she said, I want to go and set up my own business. And you know, and we had lunch over it, and I said, "It's time for you to leave home, isn't it?" Oh God! But I want to encourage them. I'm not going to stand in her way. Of course, she's brilliant. Of course, I don't want to lose her. But it's lovely seeing that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what's the best piece of business advice that you've been given?
Probably the best piece of advice I was ever given was by a business lady. It was really random. We were at a show and I kind of knew her anyway, but she just came up to me. She said, oh, how's it going? She said, just remember, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. I was like, what? She said, squirrel your money away. Whenever you can, squirrel, and just put it in different places. And actually, she was so smart, because when COVID hit, we had been making sure that we put money aside. But when COVID hit, we were able to just not have to furlough anyone, not have to lay anyone off or anything, unless they asked to be furloughed. And we had enough reserves to be able to do that. Yeah. And it's very easy when the goings or times are good to upgrade your car, to have flash business cards, get that nice new leather chair, you know. Yeah. But actually, you don't need it. Yeah. And just by having that squirrel mentality, it certainly saved our bacon a few times.
Well, I think I know the answer to this next question then, because if somebody put £50,000 in your bank today, what would you do with it?
Squirrel
it away.
Actually, do you know what? I wouldn't. If somebody put £50,000 in my back pocket, I would invest it in future female businesses, without a doubt.
I love that answer.
Brilliant. Fabulous.
Yeah. So we have a little feature on this show, which is an internet search history question where
oh no,
we go back through everything that you've put online and find a little question to ask you. So in your Tiny Box Team profile, you say that your dream job would be a singer. So our question is, what's your favourite song to sing in the shower?
Not just a singer, a rock singer.
Oh, amazing.
Brilliant. Yeah. Even better.
So I think that my favourite song to sing in the shower is Bad Out of Hell, Meatloaf.
Nice.
What a great choice.
Nice. I do have to say, my dream West End role was always Scaramouche. In We Will Rock You. That was always the role I always wanted to do. I've sung that many a time in the car at the top of my voice.
Yeah.
I so wanted to be a singer.
Yeah.
All through my teens, but I had no timing, so it was a bit of a problem, really. But yeah.
Well, apparently Connor's a singer, we found out today.
Yeah, and guitarist.
That is true, on the rare occasion, though.
There's some YouTube evidence. I think I've come across it.
There is. Yeah, there is. How have I not unlisted that?
So, Rachel, what is your why? What's your reason for getting out of bed every day?
I've got no idea. I'll be honest with you. I think that you are born with drive. I genuinely believe that some people are born with drive. I think that I've had a lot of soul-searching time, and I genuinely believe now that we think we have free choice in our lives, but actually a lot of the time we don't. Because sometimes if you go along the wrong route, you end up being pushed back on the route that you're supposed to be on anyway.
Yeah.
You know, years ago, I applied for a job in a tech company, got the job, but I didn't like the team. It just seemed a bit bitchy, and I don't do female bitching. So I turned the job down. 3 months later, the recruitment consultants said, "Oh, we've got the ideal job for you, Rach." Didn't tell me the company name until the day, and I'm pulling up outside it going, "I'm sure I was here 3 months ago." But it was with a different team. Yeah. Same company.
Wow.
And things like that happen, and you think, yeah, how much free choice do we actually have? Now, whether that's predestined or whether it is purely a mixture of our nurture nature that shapes our personality and our being so much that we're going to end up on the same path anyway, I don't know. But so I don't know what drives me. There's something in me that just keeps me going.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that answer.
I do too.
What does the immediate future look like for you? What are you working on right now?
So I'm working on a desert island, like the Virgin Islands, to go and live there, retire, put my feet up. No?
Yeah. I'm
with
down.
you. Yeah.
I was just
we're joining you on that flight.
Is there a spare room on this island?
Reality. Shame. I am currently. We opened our first shop 2 weeks ago. Physical shop.
How did that go?
Good. Yeah. It's early days. It's a very little shop. It's just to kind of prove the concept, learn the ropes. I've never had a shop before. Interestingly, my grandfather did. And interestingly, even more, my great-grandfather ran a packaging company, which I didn't know.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know until about
destiny.
Yeah, I didn't know until about 7 years ago.
Oh, wow. My gosh. I love that.
Yeah, he set it up in 1900 and it closed down in 1914 due to all of the men having to go and fight in World War I, and he couldn't get paper supplies.
Wow.
So, but yeah, how spooky is that?
The irony of that as well, because obviously and I'm sure it would have affected you. There was a cardboard crisis during COVID as well. There was. How that must have affected you as well.
The prices rocketed.
Yeah,
absolutely rocketed. In one hit, our corrugate went up 36%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Staggering.
So we also like to do 3 speed lightning questions for you.
Okay. Hit me with
Ready?
it. Yeah.
So what is your best business accomplishment?
Best business accomplishment. what was the word? Inspirational awards, amazing women's awards, inspirational award, most inspirational mentor.
Wow.
That's a great one.
Love that.
Yeah, didn't even know it was a thing, but yeah, national award. Met Emma Thompson. She was so lovely.
Oh, I love Emma Thompson.
She was really nice.
I've been watching Matilda with my kids quite a lot. So.
I had a photo with her, and I said to her, "People tell me I look like you. Do I look like you, or do you look like me?"
I see that.
So there's a picture of us looking at each other, going, "Do we look like each other?"
I absolutely see that. Yes, my gosh, love that. And what's your favourite productivity hack?
At the moment, it's Agent GPT.
Yeah.
I think we're all on board with that one.
Absolutely.
Connor's nodding as well.
I love it. It's an absolute game changer.
And what is one thing that the internet doesn't know about you?
Oh, one thing the internet doesn't know about me. Oh, wow. I nicked my sister's green paint when I was 6.
I love that stayed with you as a core memory.
And left green paint fingerprints everywhere and told her that I hadn't taken it.
She knows now.
She kind of knew at the time because there's green paint everywhere. I'm going, no.
Definitely wasn't me. Well, I've had the most amazing time. It's been such a pleasure to meet you. If anyone has been inspired today, where can they find you? Where can they find your products?
So tinyboxcompany.com or .co.uk, knowtheorigin.com or rachelwatkin.com. Can I just say, on rachelwatkin.com and tinyboxcompany.com, if anyone is struggling out there, we do offer free clinics. There's no catch. It's free clinic. If you're having a bad day, you can just book a clinic.
Amazing.
and just talk about anything that you want to talk about. And it's designed for when women are kind of hitting that low point, don't know where to go with their business, thinking of giving up or whatever, then just talk to us. And if I don't know the answers, which a lot of the time I won't, I will know somebody who does. And I've got other female entrepreneurs that help me with it. So I've got a legal expert, a finance expert. And yeah, it's there to help people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we would be very happy to support you as well, because I think that's a wonderful offer to people out there. So thank you so much. It's been truly inspiring to meet you, and I look forward to finding out more, reading your book as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.